any later than this, so yeah, just give me a minute to get set up, and I'll start talking. I'm just organizing my space so I don't knock anything over for inks. Oh, okay. Forgot to mute things. That doesn't usually happen. Ah, sketchbooks. Thanks, man. That's really awesome. I gotta pull up the YouTubes to view comments. So give me just a second to do that. I gotta mute my computer. Come on. I really hope this isn't slowing down. Okay, so I'm starting with a sketch of Splinter today. But this is what I'm getting to later, Scarlett Witch. So this is the pencils. And I'm pretty excited about that. Mainly because it's the last in the series. So I've done all the other ones, finally got them finished up and ready. And yeah, I just feel very accomplished, and I'm excited to knock this out. Anyways, here's some, my next live stream that I'm planning on doing will probably be the Phoenix. I keep saying I'm gonna do it and then it doesn't happen. So I apologize for that, for those of you who've been waiting to see that or anything like that. Where can I view comments? No comments yet. Okay. I'm worried about missing comments, so. Why is this not full screen? There we go. Okay, so this is the pencils for Phoenix. This is the Gunter sketch I did while I was at it this weekend. Let me try and get that. There we go. Just a quick fun drawing or whatever. Where is it? It's opposite day on the screen. Distracting crap at him. All right. So you got those, and then I got the Zombie Avengers. So these are the other ones in the series that are already done, that I've since yesterday added inks, ink washes to them. So started with Spider-Man, of course. It was the first one I did. I just worked on them in order. So Spider-Man, and then Thor, which was a little bit of a challenge, but only down here I wasn't sure what to do with this space, and there's whatever. I'm not gonna pick at my what I consider mistakes, because why bother with that? Black Widow, so Hawkeye, the Hulk. I did. I'm pretty happy with how this came out. It took a lot of different layers of ink to get the pants as dark as they are, to get the two different shades for his skin and the pants, because I'm just working with one wash. So darkening is just one more layer, one more layer, one more layer. So luckily, by the time I'm done to one area, generally another area is dry, so I can work continuously for the most part. But yeah, I think it came out pretty good. Captain America, this is probably my favorite. Wasn't before, but kind of is now. I just really like the way it looks and came out. So. And then Iron Man, the hardest one, I think, conceptually to come up with. just because how do you make Iron Man a zombie? I don't feel like he would become a zombie in a zombie apocalypse. He's in a metal suit, right? So, all right. So I'm going to tape Scarlet Witch down, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started on Splinter. I'll bring up my reference. I'll probably show my reference just so you can see what I'm working from. But I won't have it on screen while I'm working on it. So also, this is just the cover of the sketchbook. So this is the kind of paper I use. And yeah, I just cut it out. There's like a perforated edge line where it shows you how big the paper actually is. I just cut along that with an X-Acto blade. And then I put tape around the edges. So that helps it stay flat when I'm working on it. It gives a little bit more of a sturdiness. And also makes it to where when I stick this tape down, it doesn't stick to anything but tape. I use blue painter's tape because it doesn't peel off anything on the paper. That's not gonna fit right. Dropped my pencil on the ground just now. It's gonna be fun to find that. Sorry, I was really hoping I'd be fully ready and prepared before, but I got caught up in buying Mike Ruth's sketchbook for his comic that he's making with his wife. I think it's his wife. I don't want to be wrong on that, but it's Widow's Waif. I'm pretty excited about it, and paid to get the one with the sketch. Kind of hit it right away. He said he's only making 100 copies. I don't know how fast it'll sell out or if it'll sell out, but I'm not missing it. So signed up for that one right away. So yeah, I'm running 5 minutes late because of that. I got okay. All right, so that's ready for when I come back to that. Yeah, what's over here? This is the sketchbook I'm doing Splinter, and all of the zombies I do that aren't Zombie Avengers so far are it's 9x12, my inks, and then for watercolors I blow them up and whatnot before I color them for the X-Men. But yeah, so 9x12, and once again it's just mixed media paper. I should probably switch back to Bristol at some point. I probably will. For me right now, this is just the most accessible and doesn't have a yellow tint to it at all. Comes out real clean. As you can see, I've torn out 1,000,000 pages, and since I take out a page every single time I draw, I mean that's a real nice feature. I haven't had any problems with them tearing out weird or anything like that. So I've been using this paper for a good couple of years, and these sketchbooks aren't very expensive, so I recommend them for anybody who draws, I guess, and tears out their work. If you don't buy this, because it will eventually fall out, you know, just like any other sketchbook. Let me pull up my reference for Splinter, and then get started on it. And I'm pretty sure his name is Cole, but Life of Cole actually requested this. He was my 500th follower on Instagram. So I have a whole list of characters and stuff I want to draw, and actually TMNT is not on the list. But after this, I'll probably end up on the list because it'll be a lot of fun to do this. So I just looked at some old photos for Splinter. So, you know, the movies in the 90s, those are what I grew up with. So that's kind of what I'm going to base it off of. And then I found some other photos of him, just kind of poses and stuff. This is from a cartoon in the 90s. That's Shredder and whatnot. Okay. So I'm mainly going off just these, but I needed full body, like, to see what he looks like. Because obviously in the movie it's puppeteered, so they never show his lower body really, or him walking around too much. At least I couldn't find any pictures of it. So, all right. I said I dropped my pencil on the ground and I never found it. Where'd it go? That's just what I need. This happens to me like 3 times a day minimum. Nope. I already picked it up and put it back. Good job. I get real nervous, whatever. Once I get started, I'll probably be better. A couple videos I haven't really been very nervous at all, but you know, not really warmed up live stream wise. So been doing all of my recording and time lapse and everything instead recently. So thanks to whoever my viewer is right now. Thanks for joining me. So I'm going to do the Splinter sketch and try and do full body. So I'll look at the reference for that first. All right. So how do I want him to be sitting? I'm going to go. So I don't really draw like exact shapes or whatever, but that's not right. Something's wrong. Okay, go back to the photo. Peace. All right, so I kind of just draw very sketchily. I don't even know if you can see it very well. Here, I'll try and dim my light a little bit so you can see a little bit better for my rough sketch. Anyway, nope, that's not going to work. Can I move over here? I'll try and draw darker in just a second. A lot of the times when I do my time lapses for pencils, I use my camera that's not so high def because the light actually picks up pencils better on that camera specifically. I don't know why. I think this one's just, it's almost too good, you know? So. So I've done this thing recently where I a couple times drew the figures and completely forgot to zombify them really until afterwards. So I'm going to try and figure out what I'm going to do for Splinter a little bit early on in the process, since I haven't been doing that recently. I know I want to get his tail in the picture, so I'll try and wrap that around here. was gonna, because he has a tail, maybe a couple little nibbles out of it. Thought that would be kind of cool because his tail got grabbed or something while he was trying to get away, maybe. I'm trying to kind of think of like the story behind the zombie a little bit. So they're all a little bit different. But sometimes, you know, zombies get you in some typical ways. So that's not always easy either. Let me go back to my reference for his clothes. See, in the 90s movie, he's already wearing really ratty clothing. So I wanted to take kind of nicer clothes. I mean, his clothes are, they live in the sewer, so the clothes are always going to be a little torn up, but I want them to be looking like the actual clothes and then ripped up even more. So. Right now he's not doing anything, so I need to figure out how he's going to look more aggressive. With the superheroes, it's a little bit easier, but I got so used to drawing them. That's nice to change things up every once in a while and draw something totally different. Especially Ninja Turtles, I was a big fan when I was a kid, so. What can his arm be doing? Could be more of a bust. Ran out of space on the page. Do that a lot. That's why for the Avengers ones, I drew them at a larger size. I think 11 by 14 or 15. Trying to figure out what to do with his arms. I'm really working from a headshot, so it's a challenge. He's got the beard. Can't forget that. Exposed jaw here. I should have looked up rat skulls. That would have been a good thing to do, but I've been doing a lot of torn apart heads recently, so I always love to do the ripped up jawline. I mean, that's my style. My one hope with this is it doesn't just come out looking like an evil Chuck E. Cheese. Some more rigidity over here. Get his ears looking better. So I don't always use reference like the Adventure Times. I looked up like very, very generic forms of the characters because it wanted them to be in poses that I made up, even if they're in poses that might have been on the show or something, just kind of drawing from my mind. And even this, I mean, I'm drawing from a headshot that's completely tilted the other direction and not really the same at all. So I'm working from that one and then this one. So Ninja Rap is born. God, I love those movies. So, sorry. want to leave myself more room on the paper because I want his hands to be very long fingers, and I mean his hand really looks scary. I mean he's a giant rat, so it's gonna be good, right? How many fingers does he have? He has 5 fingers. Rats have 5 fingers? I don't know. I love long, scary fingers. For Forbidden Tales, I've been working on that a lot recently. The vampire and that. I mean, totally based off of Death. I used to draw Death in high school, and or like that generic Death figure or whatever. But the long, scary fingers are always what I loved in horror movies and stuff like that. Let's see. I don't know if I have to refresh this to see comments or not, though. I do not have any notifications, though. So that's a good sign, at least. But let me refresh this page real quick and make sure. All right. I haven't successfully replied to comments yet, so I'm hoping that I won't have any problems with that. Had some tears in his clothes. Do some foreshortening here. Not always an easy task. I don't know. I tried not to think about this too much today, although I probably should have been thinking about it a lot. What I was going to draw for him. Just kind of wanted to go into it blind. I don't like to plan things out too much because then I get super picky. Which is what I did with Iron Man, and it came out clean, but not exciting, I feel like. That's my own personal opinion. I like it. I just wasn't as dynamic, I guess. I drew all the pictures to be part of one overall composition too, and to make it to where they're not all looking directly at the camera, or mix up the poses. You have to kind of vary a little bit. And Iron Man's one of the ones I fought with. But you can't redraw and redraw and redraw things. I don't feel like then you just don't get anywhere. Redo his hair right here. Just doing scratchy marks. Kind of getting the general gist of what I want to accomplish here. His tail a little bit longer. Rat's tails kind of split. A little fuzzy. Rats are really gross. This is a real fun request. I'm very excited. I was very happy by that choice of requests. I almost didn't see it too. I just happened to be looking at that photo for someone else who had commented, and saw that Life of Cole had responded, and I was actually going to open it up to everyone for a request. I was kind of sad about it, and then I was very happy to discover that this morning. Really wanted to do a live stream before I went out of town to Montana. I'm currently in Idaho. We work a lot out of town though, in Montana near Kalispell. So yay for Kalispell. I don't really like it there. It's really boring, but Idaho is also really boring, so I don't really have a lot to do but draw, I guess. But there's something about working out of town where I just don't get as much work done. I get lazy. Travel. Even though we go out of town to work and we stay in a hotel, we're not necessarily near where we work. All the guys I go with, because gambling is legal and everything in Montana, we always stay at the same hotel near a bunch of casinos and bars that they like to go to. So we still got to drive like 20 minutes every day, at least for each job, and just stupid stuff like that. So, but yeah, getting comfortable to draw in a hotel and dealing with hotel Wi-Fi, all very not great things. All right, I'm just noodling now, so noodling sketchbooks. That's all you. So I've been having problems with my brush pen just because I refilled it and I washed it. When I washed it out, I forgot to dry it out. So when I put the ink in, now it's not solid black lines. It's almost like a dark wash, and I've been trying to fix it all day. This is my paper I've been using. This is a little bit darker now, but it's this same gray color. So I'm going to be using a real brush probably today, or dipping this. I've never dipped it, but I heard from other people that that works too. I mean, I imagine it would. It's just a nice brush, you know. So I'll probably try a couple tests on this and then start getting onto the paper. Splinter. That came out pretty good. I'm not doing too much, but that's okay. Just add my signature. So I don't have any good brushes right now. No expensive anything. Working with you. Goodbye, Walmart. Because that's where I bought it. Because that's the only thing in this town. And I should really get to a Michael's or something and spend some money. But last time I went there, I was just disappointed. And they didn't. The one nearby, Coeur d'Alene, had. I mean, it's almost 40 miles away. So that's what I'm looking at every time I need to go to arts and crafts store. And it's over a dangerous mountain pass on the 90 freeway. Just not fun to drive. My car battery is dead to drive a truck that I'm not used to driving, and it's just a huge hassle. I avoid it as much as possible. I only go over there so I can go to my bank usually. So. See, I just bought these brushes. This brush, they come in it was like $10 for a whole pack of brushes. So I was gonna test this one out because it's like the super fine tip. It's got, I don't know if you could see it. I mean, I literally just opened it dipped it in the water. It's got a couple bristles that are already falling out that I'm gonna have to tear out, and I'll probably render it useless just doing that. And it's a brand new brush, but $10 kit, you know, I'm just kind of fighting with it, and that's why using the brush has been a hassle. I've been using this one a lot. You can probably tell it's a lot darker. These two. They're the only ones that can get to a fine point, basically. And then I'm just using regular Speedball Super Black India ink. Put this into my brush pen the other day, and my brush pen exploded all over the place. So I don't recommend doing that. It dries too fast for the pen. Probably not for most people, but because I draw for like 4 hours at a time, it started to clog. I had to clean the pen, so I was going to clean it in the hotel, and I took it apart. I literally went like this. You know, you take it apart. Let me cover it so it doesn't dry out. And you just pull this off, right? You're gentle with it, whatever. The second the seal broke on it, it exploded on my face, on my hand, on the counter. It was like a bomb went off of ink. And it's been like an hour cleaning it up. And I was already having problems with the Wi-Fi, and it was a bad night. Friday the 13th, go figure, you know? Whatever, I'm not superstitious, but that was a load of crap. Very strange coincidence, if you ask me. That happened on Friday the 13th. Then I have this bottle. It's an ink wash that I mixed previously. It's what I've filled this one bottle, mixed the wash. I've literally been using it the whole time since my Becky Cloonan sketch. And as far as tools, I mostly use the brush pens. This is actually one filled with a wash. This wash, actually. And so it is purposely diluted so I can get the gray consistent. So if I want to make a fine line with this, I don't necessarily have to use a brush. I can use the brush pen. That's what I was using for the first couple I did. But I find you can't do that with the fills, and because it lets out a consistent flow of ink. It dries way too fast. So when you're trying to do larger areas, you have to do it at incredible speeds, or it just won't work out. So it just gets like a grittiness, and it's not smooth, consistent area. All right, let me make sure there's no ink on my hands. And here we go. So after I ink the sketch, I'll scan it, and then I'll color it. Or, well, not color, because I'm not using color, but I'll add ink washes to it. All right. I am happy that I had the chance to get a little more used to these brushes, the regular brushes, even if it was by force, you know. I just I don't like having to change tools in the middle of projects and stuff like that. Kind of bums me out. Plus, the brush pen has allowed me to get way better. And I don't know. I did a lot of watercolor in high school and stuff like that, and I got decently good with a brush, I guess. But I never convinced myself to be real great at it. Um, I never thought about it, I guess. But I'll mention him again. Mike Ruth, Canadian artist, does the whole convention circuit out there. I've never met him or anything, but discovered him on Instagram, and he's a huge inspiration actually for just like getting off my ass and actually inking things the old-fashioned way, seeing his work and what he's achieved with just classic tools and whatnot. Inspiring. The other thing I don't like about a regular real brush is that you have to dip it. And I'm never quite sure when to do that. So sometimes you can get too much ink, you know. So I have marks on my hands usually from getting rid of ink on brushes and the brush pen and things like that. Especially when I'm doing washes. I started, for people who've been following me a long time, you probably still wouldn't even know because it's like I might as well not mention it. But every year I rewatch the entire series of Game of Thrones before the new episodes come out. I've seen every episode of that show a dozen times probably, except for the newer seasons. I've only seen 2 or 3 times, I think. But still, that's a lot, you know, when you think of it, or whatever. But best show ever for me, anyway. Love it. Love every second of it. And I love rewatching it. There's so much more information you never get the first time. I love rewatching it even now, just over and over again, because it never gets old. I read the books and got into that after the second season, and oh man, it's just it's one of those things. Totally absorbed part of my life, but I'm super happy for it. As far as fandom goes, one of my favorite things of all time. Probably is my favorite thing of all time. And I get together with all my friends every year and watch it. I'm gonna miss that this year. So if any of you guys are watching, I'm very sad about that. But I will be back for the second half of the season. So yeah. This is what I'm talking about. Not enough ink. Whiskers. like I said, just cheap Walmart brushes is all I'm using right now. So if you're worried you might not have the tools for the job, I mean, I don't have money for Copics right now. That's why I'm doing washes. But it works with my style, you know. So I've done them before, got some experience under my belt. But as for superheroes and stuff like that, don't have a lot of experience there, and I'm excited just to be drawing those things, and I think that makes all the difference, really. My excitement for making the drawings, I feel like, shows in the work. Just like this, I'm excited for this. I got like a hook to my brush. I don't know if you could see it from where I pushed down on it. Probably pushing too hard, but at least I know on that one side how all my marks will come out. Hairy zombies are full of tiny lines. Probably going to take me a while to ink this. Who cares? This will probably be a majority of the video, actually, because Scarlet Witch isn't going to take me nearly as long as this, but that's cool. That's kind of what I want. It's like and are interested in my art to have a bigger part of what I'm making and what I'm doing. It's important to me. I had a WordPress for a long time and was never able to gain any traction. I don't have it anymore. The website no longer exists. So if you're looking for that online, sorry about that. I let it lapse money-wise. I don't remember what it was originally called, but it reverted back to its old that WordPress whatever.com. I'll try and find it one day, post a link to it so people can see. But just really old stuff from 2012, 2013. Instagram is much more interactive, and I enjoy it a lot more. So. I like the ability to, you know, be posting every day has been a big thing for me recently. But actually, even more than once a day, a lot recently. So, and that's been a lot of fun. Whenever I can post more, I will. I don't want to be blowing up anybody's feed, but I don't want anybody to miss anything that I'm making either. I don't know what rat noses look like. I never had a rat when I was a kid. I took down my reference, so not in front of me anymore. I assumed it's like any other animal's nose, which is probably the wrong thing to do, but it looked right when I drew it, so. Thanks for watching, anybody who is. Gotta get more ink on my brush. Again. So I'm left-handed. I don't know if it shows up looking like I'm right-handed on your guys' screen. I'm pretty sure it reversed for me, which I don't like, but I am left-handed, just in case you were wondering. And I am like totally twisting my whole body around the paper. I used to get asked in high school all the time, and still do. People see me draw like, you're drawing upside down. I was like, I don't think about it that way, but I guess it's not upside down, but it's not far from upside down. Because my body's here, and I wrap all the way around in like a semicircle. I don't know if other people do that, but it's just so I can see what I'm drawing very easily. Also been commented on how tight it looks like I'm holding my pencil. My hand is actually pretty loose around the pencil, or whatever. I could slide it up and down, but this is like my death grip pose, and it allows me to hold on to it. I get carpal tunnel sometimes if I'm drawing for long periods of time, but actually not too bad for the most part. You'd be surprised. It looks like I'm clenching my hand, but I'm really not. Or at least not as much as you'd think from looking at it, I guess. Got too much ink that time. Not making the line I want. So depending on how long this video is, when I finish Splinter, I might split it into two. Just so if I ever do download it and turn it into a time lapse, it'll be easier to do. But that's really the only reason. I'm looking at the camera and this eye looks way higher than that one, but it's drawn at a slant. Let me see if I can get the slant looking right. There we go. Yeah. Make it look a little bit less messed up on screen, or at least the best I can do. The gore is one of my favorite parts. At some point, I want to stop drawing zombies and move on to other things, but man, is it fun. I used to get really down because it was all I was drawing for a very long time. But I was just drawing zombies. I mean, now that I'm drawing different characters and new things every day. It's not just zombies every day. It feels like more, and that's changed my aspect on it. I try to revitalize what I was doing and do something that I wanted to make prints, but still be doing something in my style and my realm of what people were already following me for. Not that that matters. I mean, I've obviously been doing side projects and stuff that are totally unrelated and don't have anything to do with zombies or horror. I'm doing like almost a kid's book. Well, it probably will end up being a kid's book if I ever finish it, but the Lost Viking thing I've been working on for a while, and that kind of just came out of nowhere. So the other thing, I don't know how fast Speedball dries, so I'm concerned with putting my hands back over top of it. But it probably dries faster than the brush pen. I mean, that's what I've had problems with, so should be fine. I gotta get in there to get those teeth. I'm afraid to put my hands in the whiskers and whatnot. I don't know if you can hear it there. Our dogs are barking right now. Who knows at what, but sorry if you can hear it. Somebody's probably here. They're probably trying to let me know specifically that someone is here by barking extra loud. They're known to do that when I have my door closed. All these little tiny teeth, I'm just making up. Whatever. The way my camera's set up is at a weird angle. This is actually flat for me. So I'm drawing to where I'm trying to get it to where it looks flat for you, the viewer. It's kind of created a challenge for me, but it's not that bad. I mean, whatever. Just a little shift. I turn the paper and everything anyway, so it's not like it really matters. I had a guy last night was asking for tips on drawing zombies, or at least he said he wanted to get better at it. If you're watching this video, I don't know exactly what to say, but I mean, I've been drawing zombies because I have a content for a long time, good couple of years, and I mean, practice makes perfect, I guess, is the classic way to say, you know. keep working at it. If you want to get better at drawing zombies specifically, draw zombies. I did a whole series of like little sketches of poses with not stick figures, but like the equivalent or whatever, just gestural drawings. Like they would have you do in a figure drawing class or whatever, but just kind of from my head to see how many poses I could come up with, and then afterwards try to draw a zombie in each one of those positions. That was a thing I did a couple of years ago, and that actually helped and made me improve a lot. Figuring out a style and stuff that works for you with horror and gore comics in general is I kind of just fell upon it, I guess. I was writing zombie stories for a script writing class at the time that I did 24-hour comic book day, just to doing zombie comics, and really ended up falling into being a professional artist, even though I do a lot to take it seriously for a couple of years, because I've been working and in school and everything and just haven't had the time. Now that I'm trapped out in Idaho and was out of work for a month, more than a month actually, a couple months. I didn't want to be wasting time. I hate wasting time. The older I get, the more productive I get, because I just don't like sitting around. And drawing is how I supplement that time if there's no way to make money. So hopefully I can make drawing make me money pretty soon. I'm pretty excited to open my store, but I'm worried about my address changing and everything else, even though that probably doesn't matter. Just mailing out my work from here in such a remote area, I'm worried that people won't get it or whatever. You know, I really should just open it, but I was waiting to finish some more of my work before I did. At least a couple series, so it's probably open it right after I finish my Zombie X-Men series. So whenever I get Phoenix all done, and well, not even Phoenix, I just want a watercolor Beast, because he's part of the original group there. Okay, so got an undershirt and then like the actual robe. I drew a tattoo a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna have to take a day and work on that more one of these days this week. So if you're following me on Instagram, you'll probably see that. Just because I promised the guy I'd do it. I know him pretty well. I've been really good friends with the girl he's with for a very long time. She's actually one of like 4 people in existence who have tattoos I've drawn. And I haven't drawn tattoos since high school, so like 8 years probably since the last tattoo I've drawn. I'm 25, almost 26, for anyone who's wondering. I've been in my whole life, so, but I took the year off almost last year, barely did any work drawing wise. I don't know how that made me better, but somehow did. I guess clearing my mind of I was drawing in this style, or you know, it sometimes breaks from things just gives you perspective and allows you to come back with an empty mind, a clear head. And I find that helps. Every time I take a break from drawing, I come back with like a renewed vision. And that can make all the difference. Really, really can. Like doing these right now, I kind of went straight in from another project, but I needed something more. I wanted to get more involved because just drawing comics is great. I mean, I get to put out more work and everything, but I don't have anything that people can buy other than just my comics, you know, and that's a big deal. You wouldn't think, but because it takes me so long to put out my comics, I mean, I gotta have something else out there. So, and I haven't, so I've never made any money really. And it's also harder to gain a following when you're not doing any other artwork, unless you're obviously working for a larger scale publisher. You know, because I'm working with an independent publisher, and I really like it. They've given me the chance to grow as an artist, but still produce work and build like a portfolio and tell my own stories, which is important for me. You know, if I work for any normal publisher, I'd never get to tell my own stories. I'd be inking someone else's work or doing pencils for someone and someone passing it along, you know. And with my comics, I get to write them. I mean, I do everything. So I shouldn't say I do everything because I've had a lot of help along the way, especially from Camille, my girlfriend. And I mean, if it wasn't for her, I would have never done 24-hour comic book day, and you'd not even know I existed. So she's really to thank for all of everything that I'm doing right now. She's the reason I want to stay productive, you know, and the reason I work myself so hard. I want to make, you know, drawing professionally and doing my art a real source of income for myself so that I can live my dreams but still feel like I'm contributing. I don't want to mooch off of anybody. I haven't been truly independent for years, not since I was 19, which is not a long time to have gained independence. I moved out and went to college when I was 18 and then was fully independent for about a year. And some of the best times of my life, really. Lived with some great people in the Seattle area and had this whole other life established. But I wanted to move to California. I wanted to pursue comics. When I first came out to California, I didn't even draw for years, I don't think. I got so caught up in just other stuff and whatnot. I mean, what can I really say? It didn't happen. I wasn't putting the time in. I was pursuing more of a fine art path, and then when I did get reinvested in comics, you know, I was just not confident enough in my own abilities and my own work to really put myself out there to do anything. And it was when social media was really starting to build and form, and I remember Tumblr had just came out, was just a thing, and my ex-girlfriend, my girlfriend at the time, 2009 or whatever, she got really into it, and I was, oh man, I hated it because it just like sucked up her time, you know, and because that's what social media kind of does. And I'd already, you know, I was like being some idiot on Facebook and posting about my day all the time, and I thought that was like cool and whatever. I really hate Facebook now. I get nothing from it. See me, I don't know that many people in real life. Because I've moved so many times and just kind of haven't been able to build. In California right now, I have like my group of friends or whatever, but I feel like my Facebook friends and everything. I mean, the people I went to high school with, they're cool enough, I guess. There's a select few, let's say, that I'm interested in their lives. And there's definitely a select few that I dislike passionately. Their opinions on life and things like that. I'm very democratic and whatever. I wouldn't say that. Just like anti-conservative. You know, I don't believe in all the racist crap that's out here, and just a lot of things that people believe out here I just cannot relate to or wrap my head around. Kind of despise not political issues, but issues that I don't know, and just general ignorance. There's a lot of ignorance out here, and I mean, it's not to say it's everybody, but I've struggled my whole life with it, kind of ignorance and blind hatred to the unknown, white people in general. Not to say that I hate white people because I'm a white person, but racism abounds. I mean, come on, I just can't stand it. Blows my mind, some things I hear people say or have heard people say. Like, I mean, I stay away from it, so anymore I don't get as much from it. Don't know why I'm ranting about that, sorry. Just going through an inking here. I got I keep messing up the angle here because I'm turning the board, I guess, instead of the paper because it's just easier to do. But I'll try and keep it level for viewers out there for the majority of the time. This is like a laptop pad I got at some Mexican market. Basically like a 99-cent store almost, but not 99 cents. Just what is it? It's like almost like a Tuesday mornings, if you know what that is. But anyway, it was like 13 bucks or something. My uncle who I was there with, I didn't have my wallet or whatever, he bought it for me. It's probably one of the most used things I own because it's great. I can sit anywhere and draw, and it's more comfortable. It's got cushions, so it absorbs a little bit of like my shakiness. I don't know if I'm dealing with any of that, or because sometimes when I ink, I forget to breathe, and then I get all shaky, and then I'm like, why that happened, you know? Whatever. I hate when I like am inking and I feel something wet, it's like the scariest moment ever. I don't know what I felt on my hand, but I swear that I felt water hit it and like stopped me from moving. I don't want to like ruin a piece by getting ink where it shouldn't be. Like, must be like a blister forming or something. Yeah, but back to what I do to kind of make my zombies. I always try and incorporate torn fabrics. Love that if I can. Obviously, doing the superheroes recently, there's not a lot of, not always an availability to do that. Um, but I try and do it as much as possible. It just gives it a little bit more grittiness, texture. So, I don't see any comments. I'm going to refresh my YouTube page again. Just to make sure. If you are watching, I mean, you don't have to or whatever, but if you could drop me a comment just so I could see if it is working, that would be great. All comments. Prefer brush over micron pens. Brush over micron pen. Right now, I definitely do. It suits my style more. I used to use multi-liners like exclusively until actually this year. So I have some Copic SPs and a couple of these Prismacolor multi-liners, or like the premiums or whatever. I preferred the Copics because you can refill them and replace the nibs. Only done that once, but it definitely made it more worth it to have the pen. And that's the SPs that had that on the SP multi-liners. They're silver. I have one around here. I only use like one size. So with the microns and stuff, all I was really using ever was a 3 and an 8 or whatever the sizes is. I call them 3s and 8s. I don't know what they are. I can't find the pen. Here. 0.3. There we go. And 0.8, I guess. I knew there was probably a point in there. But yeah, for my zombies, it just seems way more fitting for a brush. It was a drastic and noticeable change when I switched over. So because it allowed me to widen all my lines and give texture where before it would take me hours to achieve the same thing. And it really wouldn't have the fluidity or sense of motion or grittiness that I get just naturally with a brush. So, but I've been I mentioned earlier the Pentel brush pens. This is amazingly, it's an amazing tool. But I haven't found a suitable to refill yet on those, and that's why I'm not using it right now. I'm using a real brush as opposed to that, because my pen, I washed it out and it it retained water, so it's not black ink right now. So I'm just using these cheap Walmart brushes I got lying around. I had to go buy them after my other brush broke while I was watercoloring about a month back. So, and the nearest craft store for me is a pretty long distance away. So I hope that answers your question. It seems like I need to refresh to see comments. So that's good to know. Also, hope you didn't make that comment too long ago. Thank you. Is that Choco Cornet? I don't know how to say your name, but thank you. I appreciate that. How much have you watched, if you don't mind me asking? I don't know. I haven't been checking out all my views or something. I try and draw instead of doing too much social media, so like I was just recording videos before and uploading them and trying not to worry about how many views something has or anything like that. So, but I definitely appreciate you saying that you like watching me make my artwork. That's really appreciated. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I discovered a couple different people making, oh man, I just realized that there's a hand here that I should have drawn first, because there was a finger that went through this whole area. I'm gonna have to change his whole hand pose now. Crap. I could still make it work, I guess. I'll have to, give me one sec. I want my brush to dry out, but I also don't want it to absorb water too much. So I'm gonna have to figure this out in like 10 seconds. Let's see. Fit a finger in here and still make it look natural. To move some things around. Still working on hands. I think I'm gonna start like a practice sketchbook to get better at drawing certain things, and hands is definitely the hands and feet. Oh man, hate hands and feet. They're just like I could draw anything else, but somehow, see, I hate how that looks. Now I'm gonna erase the whole thing. Won't even have the original drawing there. But I can't change it where it's gonna be, so because I already have the shirt laid out there. What am I doing? Working with the space I allotted for myself, I guess. Kind of back into a corner. Can't believe I did that. I haven't done that in so long. Very upsetting. It ruined the. I had a great hand, I think, there. I was excited about it, how it was coming out. Oh, wow. At least it'll give all the ink time to dry, I guess. If I get really upset because I just can't figure this out, I will probably just have his arm eaten off. It's my typical solution. It's not always why I do it, but sometimes when I just can't figure something out, that is the best thing about drawing zombies. Oh, I can't get the left half of this face right. Let's obliterate it. Gore it up. Like right here, I'm having trouble fitting a couple of his fingers in. So I'm either going to have to, because I drew it one way and then obviously inked the whole area of my hand, plus some, and without completely making the finger black, I now have to figure out a new hand for him. I would probably change the whole foreshortening of what's here. And for those of you who don't know, when you draw things and they're closer to you, they're bigger. See how my hand's bigger than this hand? That's all foreshortening is, and getting the angles to look right. It's a pain in the ass. Luckily, I've been drawing scrunched up hands and arms from drawing zombies for so long, or just drawing for so long, I guess, that I don't have the same problems I used to have with it, but it used to be like my worst nightmare to draw things at new angles. So what I did is I took basically what the original hand pose was and moved it back. And I'm going to have to change the angle of the arm here just a little bit to suit the new pose. And then I'm going to be really disappointed with myself because I'm going to have to come across here and make some new type of mark to fill in and make sure that, because now this cloth needs to be coming backwards at a tighter angle across his hand. So this line is now going to have to be an incline for something else. So I'm going to probably blend it in with the back part of his clothes to fix it. But I think I'm pretty much there with my solution. Finally. Took like 4 redrawings though. I don't typically redraw things more than like once or twice. Somehow things pop out of my brain and work. I have no way of telling you how that works. Experience, I guess. Especially drawing fast. I've done caricatures, events, and stuff. Those have helped tremendously with speed. But I'm still a pretty slow drawer, like as far as people who draw go. Still slow by comparison. Okay, and now my brush is probably dried out. Yes, it is. I'm gonna have to clean it real quick. I don't have any paper towels in here, so you're gonna have to give me a minute. Go into the world after I get this thing cleaned up. Because if I go back into using ink with a wet brush, it'll come out as a wash. instead. So probably like a 1-minute warning. I'll be gone right now. Be right back. My dogs are like always in my room, and they're both like sitting right outside the door, eagerly awaiting the moment I let them inside. They drive me crazy. Not really, they're great, but I can't have them in the room while broadcasting because sit there and wag their tails and hit my desk and everything shakes, you know, and then when anybody opens or closes the door in the house and they hear it when they're locked in here, they bark and won't stop barking until I let them out. So they've been locked out because they don't seem to understand they're not supposed to make noise. Which, why would they? So I'm refreshing my YouTube feed as much as possible to get comments and stuff like that. So far I've got 2, I hope. Oh, there's another one. It's my first time watching your video. Your channel through Instagram. Actually, I thought it was really unique how you made all the well-known characters your own by zombifying them. Yeah, yeah, it's just kind of a thing I started doing, the zombie caricatures of, well, all the different characters. Started with Zombie X-Men. And that's just one of my favorite all-time shows from when I was growing up. And I can express enough how excited I am about the new X-Men 92. It's going to be part of the Secret Wars comic series. They're releasing it digitally first, I think, like the end of this month, or it's soon, whenever it is, but and then maybe it's like April, and then like a month later they're releasing it in print, and I'm so gonna buy it in print. It's gonna be like one of my favorite things ever, because it's just it's the character and world and universe of the 90s X-Men cartoon saga that I grew up with as a kid, continued on as a comic book series, and touched back with like all the original cast of characters. And yeah, I couldn't be more excited about that. And the fact I was already drawing all of them at this basic time just made it that much better, you know. It's like, holy crap, I drew them all, and it was awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to like get off my butt and make some prints, so I had stuff to sell when I go out to shows and stuff like that. But thank you for tuning in. I'm glad you found me on Instagram. That's where, you know, all of my following is. I don't have any followers or subscribers on YouTube right now, so please subscribe if you're interested in seeing more. I have a couple of time lapses up and that kind of stuff, and a couple of previous broadcasts, but I was really just starting and trying to figure it out, learning as I go. You know, I've only been doing it for a couple weeks, but there for about 2 months I was working 12-hour days drawing, and then I realized, wow, I could be putting this all up for people to see I'm just sitting at my desk anyway, you know. And then I did for like one day, I did like 3 broadcasts, and then after that, I was like, okay, this is really draining. You can't make, you know, I can't talk all day long, because when you're doing broadcasts, like if no one's commenting, you feel like you're talking to yourself, hardcore, which is where I got a couple times. And so it's like, okay, I'll just record a couple videos and get out of my own head. So I just feel like I'm talking to myself and repeating myself all the time. But, you know, I try and repeat things that new viewers and people who haven't seen my past videos. I don't try to make the assumption that anyone has seen any of my previous work. So if you're a new follower on Instagram or aren't even a follower on Instagram, thank you for showing up. It's really awesome for coming and checking it out. I'm really excited with how this picture is turning out. I know it's taking forever and a day. Sorry for those of you who watch this later. You're welcome to fast forward. But those of you who are watching it live, thank you very much. That means a lot. Even if you just like muted or whatever and are just tuning in to watch me draw. That's awesome in itself. I'm not sure how hairy his hands should be, so I'm going to add some hair here and there. Once again, I'm trying to fix that spot where I messed up the hand. Just to give this area a better angle and fill. I think I figured it out. I fixed it. But it wasn't exactly easy. I'm going to have to go over a couple of these lines from where my brush was not totally full of ink. They're a little more gray toned. Yeah, I guess if you like zombies, I'm definitely a person to hire, or not hire. What am I saying? Follow, because I'll be drawing different ones all year round. I probably start doing sketch cards of non-zombies though, to just kind of, I don't want to get trapped. And I'm already kind of hooked and trapped into drawing zombies, but that's by choice. Here, let me get the paper back square. I got YouTube up, so I can't really see the video of me drawing anymore. I wonder if there's a way that I don't have to refresh it every time to see comments. So that would be nice. Okay. No new ones. Yeah. Angle. Up there. try not to worry about it and keep working as much as possible. Because they take me so long to do, I really appreciate anybody who's watching me work. But yeah, they take more time than you'd think. Each one probably takes me like 2 hours plus. Some take a little bit less, but yeah, I'm averaging 2+ hours on each individual piece of work. Some's a lot more. The Avengers ones definitely took a lot longer. Most of them took like over an hour just to ink, and like a half hour plus just to do the pencils. So with washes, you're looking at another hour for a lot of them, especially Hulk. Hulk took me a long time today. But just because he's got a lot of large areas, and then to darken up some of the areas and give his skin different tones, you got to add different layers of wash. Just the way I'm doing it anyway. Probably gonna, if anybody has any advice or anything on different ways to do things, I'm always open to new forms of technique and stuff to improve my work. Yeah, and back to the question of whether I prefer microns or brush, I just can't imagine getting the same marks on paper. I mean, I was never able to the whole time I was using microns. But for some things, I will go back and do like little mini lines and stuff. Damn dogs. Okay. Someone's definitely here. They're being shushed. Everybody in the house knows that I'm drawing right now. So hopefully they try and keep them at least a little quiet. I'll probably take a break in a minute. Once, well, I'm gonna be done inking. I'd say like 5 minutes probably. I don't want to do too much like little detail work, but I want his hands and stuff to have the appearance of having hair instead of just being smooth like I had them. So. One of my uncles is very sick, so there's a lot of people going in and out of my house. My house is kind of the midway point between where my uncle is and Coeur d'Alene, so people tend to stop by and give news and updates and everything else. So, yeah, it's kind of a big deal going on around here. I feel bad as far as I know I draw zombies all day, but as far as dealing with actual death and real life, don't have a lot of experience with it, and I don't know if it's just television or what, but I've totally desensitized. Uh, Maybe it is just that I draw zombies every day, but as far as death goes, I don't feel like I feel the same emotions other people feel. Maybe that's a regular thing for people, but I just feel like, meh, I feel more bad for the people around that are sad. Like, I don't deal well with people that are sad. I'm just like, I don't know how to respond to you. I'm lost all empathy. Man, in high school, I used to be on the phone with girls forever, dealing with their life problems, and I don't know when I lost that, but I lost some kind of empathy gene or something somewhere along the way. Got a little more desensitized to life and learned that shit happens, and it happens to everybody, not just one or two people or a couple people in your life. Everybody has problems, always. You're never going to not have problems. You just have to find the silver lining in everything you do. Because otherwise, you can't let life get you down. And I don't know. I always thought my life was real hard, and then it just kept getting worse. And then, I know my life isn't nearly as bad as some people I know, so I'm thankful for that. But I feel like it's that I can't remember what it's called. I took a Psych 101 class a while ago, but there's it's like ethnocentricity or something, where your world revolves around you, and it's something else, but I can't remember what it is. But you always think of yourself first for the most part. People do. Beings do. I gotta flip this upside down to see the other side of the tail. Human beings in general, especially when we're young and whatnot, we always think of ourselves first, and our world kind of revolves around us, which in the world, your world does revolve around you, so that makes perfect sense. You are the main character of your world, but to think that there's not other people in the world that are also a part of that story is naive and something you kind of grow out of as you get older. I forgot what the original thing I was talking about was. I do that too. Sorry. Wish I kind of knew, but oh well. Anyway, I'm almost done inking here. I got so distracted with remembering a word that I can't remember what the conversation was about. That's fantastic. His tail. Let me add some hair to it. Actually surprised I did this well with using a regular brush. I guess it's no different, but definitely more used to the pen, the brush pen. So, but it's good to know that if worse comes to worse, I can make these things with pretty much no money, and that's good. That's always good to know, because cost is half the battle, you know. I want to get some like real nice brushes and then just switch exclusively to those. That would be great. That's on my list of things to do eventually, art-wise, eventual funding costs. I keep seeing this thing, Patreon, I think that's how you pronounce it, from other live streamers and well, mainly, yeah, other live streamers that I'm watching, and they talk about it. And sketchbooks is one. You should, if you're watching me work and you like what I'm doing, sketchbooks, Sonic Ninja, and Justin Prime are all the people that I've been checking out their videos in the last couple of weeks, about the last month, and the other one. I can't remember his YouTube, but King of I think it's Smaster, or it's like S Master. Drawing with Bob or something. It's his videos, but he's starting a new thing called Bob's Drawing Challenge. But he's really good. He's real funny to watch. I like his videos. I was watching them the other day. I was washing out my pen. Definitely entertaining. I don't have that much personality, I don't think, by comparison. So it's cool to kind of watch somebody else who's the real character, you know. I feel like my voice I don't hear myself how I hear like other people hear me, which is you know, like the regular thing or whatever. But I sound far less enthusiastic in real life than I think I do, which is kind of a problem, I guess. But I don't know. I never sound too excited. I guess that's what I'm getting at. Um, okay, I refreshed and one of the comments disappeared. That's weird. Oh, it just moved. Why did it do that? It was way closer to now. I'm still figuring YouTube out. And now I'm just noodling on this. So I should probably stop pretty soon. Gonna add some edges here on the face. Just a few little things I wanted to touch up. Having problems with that ear. I'll fix it with the ink wash, I guess. Not necessarily problems, but to get the dimension, I'm going to need to do washes on it. Okay. Oh yeah, hair over here. Skin's too bald. I definitely have like 6 relatives in this house right now. That's where there's usually only my mom and stepdad, because I am staying at home right now, working with my stepdad, doing construction. Something I used to do in high school, and they gave me the opportunity to come back and do it to help me out, because I was really struggling in California financially, both because I don't really want to get into it, but a lot of it wasn't my fault. but I was drowning due to circumstances that were out of my control, and I'd been living with my grandmother and had no independence, and you know, it's like if one more thing went wrong, my entire world was going to collapse for like the fifth time. And I'd change addresses literally every year for 5 years. I kept telling myself that things were going to get better, and they kept getting worse. And just life struggles, you know. And so when I came out here, I'm pushing myself real hard to make a true effort on turning art into a career, or at least something that helps me financially in some way or another. Because like if I dedicate so much time already, especially in my comics, like each issue takes me like 200 plus hours, and that's probably lowballing it, you know. So when you equate that to working a job, and when you figure out that I'm not really making any money from comics, I needed to find something that allows people to buy my work, me to sell my work, and at least contribute something financially, so that if I am putting in that time, it helps my situation instead of hinders it, you know. Instead of me being like, oh man, I have to go to this job. It's like I'd like to get to the point where, yeah, I'm making a terrible amount of money or whatever for my life circumstance, but I'm making that money making art, you know. At least to that point, that's my goal right now. I've basically figured out my cost of living and all of that, and I'm trying to figure out how I could budget that in, because working a part-time job or whatever, I mean, if I could figure out a way to make even like $8 an hour making art, I feel much more inclined to make 10 hours of art a day than go to work for 6 hours a day or 8 hours a day, you know. And it doesn't take as much out of me. I enjoy it. I build a portfolio, and things just get better and better, you know, instead of my soul getting sucked out by some terrible job, which is the alternative, basically, because that's what has happened. Trying to maintain going to school full time, you know, part time, working part time / full time almost, going to school full time, and then just everything all together is a killer. You know, it's part of what the reason why it takes me a year to put out a comic issue in the past. So if I can find a way to fund myself financially, just being an artist and doing the work I'm already doing, I should scan it. I should scan it. Sorry, I'm not thinking straight. Where's the brush for ink? Trying to be really careful not to knock any of my supplies over. I'll slide this over for a second so you can see kind of my workstation here. Just Higgins ink bottles. I mean, yeah. So Higgins, I haven't had great success using this white one. I used it for the first time like yesterday. It's nice for fixing little bleeds over the lines and whatever on the edges of stuff. And then Speedball, black ink. I forgot to sign the piece, so that's what I'm doing right now. My signature is important. just a little bit. Do my signature with a brush is a lot more complicated than doing it with a pencil. So I often have to lift my hand, which is whatever. But like when you can't see the edge of each line. My family was commenting the other day, like, "What is your signature?" And it's like, it's Whitfield, sort of, I guess. I've been signing my full name for years on documents, you know, and then whatever, and I wanted my art signature to be different, so I just cut it. I mean, my Instagram is Life of a Whitfield, and my signature is just Whitfield. But it's really only like half the word scrunched up into just a squiggly mark. My mom said it looked like a horse, which I guess I could see, but nah. One thing I don't like about brushes is cleaning them out. Takes so much more time. The brush pen, I just close it, you know. So I definitely, the Pentel brush pens, I highly recommend. Got so much better using those. And then I just have a paper towel and drying out the brush. Now this is more like a wash, so I'm not going to get it all out. But as soon as I stop seeing like actual ink coming out, almost there. There we go. It's clean. That's good. Never leave your brushes just like sitting in the water straight down. Ruins them. Just a heads up. I mean, I learned that real early on, but for anyone thinking of using brushes who never has, they're pretty intuitive. But once it's all about learning how to use them and then getting the experience so you can get the different variations of mark. That's all it is. And once you've mastered what you're doing, I mean, I haven't mastered it by a long shot, but once you know how to make all your different types of marks and all of that, I mean, then you're good. Then you're set. You don't have any problems with it or anything like that. I just use typical white erasers. This one's got a million holes in it when I get bored in math class and stuff like that. I have a tendency to poke at them a million times. Okay, I'm gonna take a picture of this, set it up to scan, do an Instagram post, and by the time I finish the post, it should be ready and I can do washes on it. All right. It comes out a little simple. My printer, in case you're wondering, it's hard to find printers that have the large scanning base for 11 by 17 or more. I think the one I have is 12 by 18 is the biggest, or 13 by 19. I can't ever remember. I think it's 12 by 18 is the scanning surface, and 13 by 19 is the printing size, but you can do like the 13 inches wide is basically what you're looking at there. I'm not sure, but I have the Epson Workforce 7620. I was talking to Justin Prime. I think he said his printer was a 7520. Both seem to be pretty decent printers. The only thing I don't like is that it only prints in certain sizes, but I'm not sure that's avoidable with different printers and stuff like that. But it scans great, it prints great, does cost a decent amount of money. I bought mine. It was like $270 or $280 plus shipping. But I just saw them at Staples, and I guess they've gone down in price to I have, oh crap, I have a bunch of comments on Instagram. New followers. Thank you. Oh, there you are. Hey, thank you. Chipper Cornet. Thanks. I'm gonna follow you and stay tuned for your doodles. See what you're working on. Throw you some likes and whatnot. Thank you for watching. And for being, you know, it's your first time even seeing my work and you tuned in. That's really awesome. Okay, what do I look up? Horror, scary. All right, yeah, it does take like 3 minutes to scan. It's probably about 3/4 done right now. So I'm gonna try and upload this before it finishes, which I probably won't be able to. I don't generally add too much filter. I kind of up the contrast if I feel like it's not looking great. I add a little bit of vinaigrette to it just to add some effect for Instagram, but that's it. Almost done, sorry. Getting caught up in posting on Instagram and figuring out what hashtags I'm going to use. I don't ever really know. what I'm gonna write. I mean, obviously I have my typical ones I post in, right? So I probably spelled something wrong or whatever in that, and probably will have to edit it later. Let me make sure. What? Mm-hmm. Sorry. Had a couple direct messages. I was reading those real quick just in case they pertained to this and there was anything I could address. I'm gonna refresh right now, respond to any comments, and get started. So, and thank you for commenting. I really appreciate it because it makes me feel like I'm not just talking to myself, talking to somebody else. Thank you, Truth Speller. That's really good. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm gonna do ink washes now that it's scanned and good there. This is probably gonna be, it's a lot of fill, looks like, especially on him. So I had to flatten the pages later, but here goes nothing. And the trick with ink wash is to never let it dry unless you have it exactly how you want it, because when it dries, if you go back over it, it's like adding a whole nother layer as opposed to adding to the current layer. So like if I, like right there, I bled over the line, and so I had to fill this whole area in to a point where I knew I could stop and continue it on. Later on, basically, and go back and work on his face. One thing I'm not liking about the speedball is that it bleeds a little bit. So the line work isn't as crisp once I go over it with the brush. I mean, that's ink in general, right? So Camille's calling me. I feel bad that I can't answer her, but as soon as I'm done with this head, I'll take a second and text her and let her know what's up. As I mentioned before, I might split the video into 2 parts. Splinter and then Scarlett Witch come back after like a 10-minute break or something. We'll see how it goes. I just feel bad I can't answer Camille. It's her finals day today. So kind of being a shitty boyfriend by not being there when she's on her way home after she takes her tests. I feel like a dick. But this has been planned, and she knows I've been trying to get around to actually doing it. I've been disappointed in myself for not doing it. So hopefully she understands. I sure hope so. Otherwise I'm going to be in trouble. definitely not easy being in a long distance relationship. But I feel like we've handled it pretty well. I don't really have any tips or anything for those who are going through the same thing as me, but you know, just always be yourself, I guess. That's all I try and do. Try not to change, even with the space between us. And dedicate time every day. That's the biggest thing. Keep showing that I care, no matter what. Like I said before, her encouragement and support is the only reason I've even gotten this far, you know. Without her, I don't know where I'd be. So it is what it is. So I'm just adding a base layer right now. Basically over everything, I kind of leave some white in a few spots for highlights, but probably not a lot right now. And I'll go over it and do shadows, but it's kind of like flats almost if you're thinking in terms of Photoshop or anything like that. You lay down your base coat, you know, and then work it from there. So this will be an interesting character because his skin is darker than his clothes. So it'll be the reverse of everything else I've done previously. Challenge accepted. I generally go through washes pretty fast, as you can tell, obviously. Okay, I'm going to take a second, text her and let her know what's going on. That's the wrong phone. I'm just going to call her. Hopefully you guys don't mind. I'll be back in just a minute. I'm sorry. 5-minute break. Hello? Yeah, sorry about that. I don't want to text her while she's driving. You know, dangerous. Not a good thing. Not a supporter of texting while driving. Sorry about that. I don't mean to like leave, you know. But She was like, well, you started at 7. It's been like 2 hours. And I was like, oh, crap. Didn't realize that it's been that long. That's what I'm saying. These things take me a while. Especially when I'm doing the full process, pencils, inks, and wash. But I definitely didn't realize what time it was. So hopefully I can do these videos, maybe find a way to get other artists involved and interested in doing videos with me, or I can join them more often. I've done a couple of guest appearances on Justin Prime's live stream when he opens it up for other people, when he's doing like a sketch or something after he's done his main thing. I really like his format for that. That's really great. But I think I have to build more interest before I get to the point where I could have guests. But I also just like that I could, potentially guest appear on other people's live streams. I think that's really great that people do that. I never even knew live streaming. I never thought about it as being a thing that people would be doing online that I could check out and get involved with. And those few guys that I have been looking at their videos and stuff, very inspirational to me, kind of getting into it, because I really wanted to have something more I could give to people who were interested in my artwork and were checking it out and were like, oh, that's really awesome, but like, how do you do that? And to be able to answer that while working on it. And that's what's great about live streaming. I basically figured it out. The room I'm staying in is my childhood room, and after I moved out, we had some other people that lived in here, and kind of bad tenants, and they'd drilled holes all over in the walls, and my brother repainted the room with like splatter, and it's like it's a whole mess in here. So I built a camera mount into the wall, because the walls are already ruined in here anyway. So I do have the luxury here of being able to figure out a camera setup pretty easily and not have to worry about, right now I have like a pole that used to be like in the closet in one of the other rooms in the house, but for whatever reason was taken down. I think it just like ripped out of the wall or something at some point. But it now runs from one end of my desk to straight into the wall. It's about 6 feet across, a 6-foot pole just in the middle of my room, and then the camera is on top of it. It's mounted on it. Don't recommend that. I'd probably say get a tripod if you're looking into how to stream your work. And it being mounted the way it is, that's why I have to have the board here. Otherwise, it's too far away from the screen for you to really see things. So I want to darken up some areas here. Do a second coat. But yeah, the thing I like about the ink washes is it's I can color in gray tone, and which works great for zombies. But also later on, I can I plan on trying to figure out how to do some Photoshop work with them to give them color, but then they'll still have the same like brush texture and everything else that I've already incorporated into it. So I think that'll be really cool. It also saves me money on buying things like Copic markers and stuff like that, because I just can't afford it right now. I would love to. I have a ton of Prismas, but they're all specifically oriented towards doing my zombie caricatures for parties and stuff like that. So in events where I've been hired in the past with Camille, and we go do that sort of thing. We used to be regulars at an art gallery that we worked at. We'd do events there. Whenever they do the gallery openings, we'd sit at our little table or whatever and do zombie caricatures. And then we've done a couple weddings, not for zombie caricatures, but for just regular caricatures. But I can't just regular draw people. I don't enjoy it as much. So when we do caricature events, generally Camille drawing and then me coloring everything in to give it its money's worth, you know. She's better at you know, exaggerating and capturing people's emotions. I'm definitely better at zombies. But you know, that's what I've basically trained myself to do. So of course that's what I'm better at. She used to do like a little web comic thing, and so she's definitely better at capturing what people look like just than I am. I tend to go over realistic and obviously spend way too much time on things. So another layer to his hand here. Darken it up, trying to get it to where he's darker than the clothes. By adding a second layer to the clothes, that means I have to add a third, sometimes fourth layer. I want them to be darker. So also depends on how much ink I'm applying and how fast I'm going. I'm moving pretty fast with it right now, and that allows there to be more ink spread around in one go. But it also crinkles the paper more, so it has its drawbacks. But I always go in with the assumption that I'm going to have to flatten it anyway, because I mean, really, if you're doing anything like this, so there's no avoiding it, you know. But yeah, like right there, there's way too much water happening, so I'll have to spread it around this area a lot more. And since I just applied, it's bubbling up. I don't like to leave areas white too often when doing a wash, unless they're specifically for highlights. So touching up a little bit here and there. Matching the color there with the color right above it, but then I'm going to have to make this darker once that all dries. Dogs are barking again. Cole, if you're watching this, I mean, I hope your name is Cole, but thank you so much for the request, for real. This is a really good one as far as requests go. I'm happy that it wasn't something that I already had on my list, because as far as requests go, I have a whole list of things I already plan on drawing as zombies throughout the year. I totally left it open for more, but don't want to fill them in because I'd like to do requests pretty frequently if possible. So if I want a slightly lighter shade, I'd like get some of the ink off first, you know, and then try and spread it around a little bit more than the usual amount. Some areas here that need filled in. Kind of add a highlight to the tail there by leaving it white on one side. Since I can't figure out how to use white ink and I don't have a whiteout pen or anything that I should have, that I should be probably using, that other artists use. I mean, the whole point is to learn from other people. That's what videos are like this are for. I mean, that's what I think they're for or whatever, but seeing other people work, I mean, there's the enjoyment of watching other people draw, and it gets you inspired, I feel like, to make more work. Definitely inspires me to make more work. So I've been on a kick of watching other people draw while I do like pencil sketches and stuff like that, or when I was doing the ink washes earlier, because this takes so much time. I was watching videos, you know, and just catching up on other people's stuff. And then today I was watching Game of Thrones all day. Because I was mentioning earlier, I rewatch the whole series every year in preparation for the new season. So yeah, and I generally leave the eyes white as just like a touch to make them pop. Probably do one more pass on this hand. Not totally dry yet. What can I do in the meantime? I'll just wait. I'll give it another like 20 seconds. I don't know, there's a lot of liquid there. That's war. I guess I could do the belt, but that's too close. I feel like it would be counterproductive to it drying out. I'll just do little highlights and shadows in the meantime. Little areas I feel like could be darker, just give more depth, but basically just things I can do to waste time. Forgot to move this back over for the second part of the video. Sorry. I just realized that. I'm holding it up in the air when there's an open ink container on it. It's probably a terrible idea. I just feel like it's muddy here on its fingers. So I really want to go back over it with ink again. I want it to be easily differentiated by the color, just naturally. So probably do this layer of wash and then call it good now. So yeah, that's Zombie Splinter. Yeah, I got a couple little things I'll probably do to it, but nothing too much. That's pretty much the whole thing. Thanks for tuning in, anybody who was watching it live. Let me check my comments one more time. And I think I'm going to take a break before moving into Scarlet Witch, just because it's already so much time has passed. I spent way more time on this than I probably should have. I'll take like a 15-minute break or something and then come back. I just need to eat. I haven't eaten. Because I started this at 7. I figured I'd be done by 9:30, which is probably a mistake to think that. Thought I'd do something smaller, but like I said, I didn't really plan too far ahead when I started this, so I just don't want to like get caught up in planning it and then get disappointed when it's not exactly what I wanted, which I can tend to do. So I know myself pretty well. I know my habits and what I don't like when I do, so I try to avoid those things. So, I'm just doing little crap now that doesn't matter, so I'm going to stop there. But thank you for watching. I'm going to separate the video here and call it good for now. I'll come back on and adjust a little bit. Well, what's the time right now? I want to call it 10. It's 9:37 right now. I'll be back within a half an hour and start on Scarlet Witch, inking and then washes, just like I did here, but I started this from scratch. So probably be on a 2-hour video. So be the rest of my night, basically. But I'm really happy with how this came out. So thank you for watching. Thanks for checking it out. And I'll see you in a bit if you still want to watch and tune in. Thank you.